Hey guys, I'm Eric. I'm Michelle's husband, and today I wanted to go over the warmer of the month, the scent of the month, as well as how easy it is to make these samples and what you can do with them. You know, these samples are a good part of your business. If you want to make money in this business, you need to sell product, right? Pretty simple. You need to have fun at the same time while you're doing it, but you know, some of the things Michelle does is she goes to the bank, she goes to any of the restaurants, Sonic car hops, she hands out these samples to each and every one of her potential clients. She doesn't have to know them. It's a good opening way to start talking to people about the product. So let's get into it real quick on how to make the samples. It's a very simple, easy process. Anybody can do it. Heck, if I can do it, anybody can do it, let's face it. But what comes in your package is, as you see, you're always going to get the warmer. It'll be a different warmer each month. This one happens to be the Christmas tree. I'm not going to open it up. You can see it for yourself. Pretty simple there. You're going to get 10 bars, which will be a new bar each month. This month happens to be the Clementine Clove, so that's the one we'll be making samples of today. As well, you'll get a room spray, all in the same scent. You get a room spray, you get a party tester, and a mini tester, both in your deal. As well, you get this flyer for the month. It shows the warmer of the month, as well as talks about the scent of the month and the previous scents of the month prior. So you'll also receive the scratch and sniff stickers. You know, some people ask, well, if I get the scratch and sniff stickers, what's the point of doing these samples? Well, these things don't put out a whole lot of smell to begin with. They're hard to give to people unless you're just going to go around sticking them on their shirt, and then people got to come up and sniff their shoulder or whatever the case may be. So that's probably not the best way of doing it. So what we're doing is we're coming up with a new way to actually hand out product, let them see the product, touch the product, smell the product, and then they can pass it around and share it with their friends too. So it's a pretty neat thing. So what do you need? So you're going to get yourself a couple of these candy molds. These happen to hold 64 samples or pieces of candy, if you will, per mold. We've tried it using different shapes of mold. We did stars, we've done all kinds of stuff, but what we found is this actually works best because it's quicker to make. Yes, they're all going to be this diamond shaped when you're done with it, but as well, they don't take a whole lot of the wax, so it gives us the ability to make more samples that smell really nice, to pass out to people without spending a lot of money. So in other words, if we took and used the larger stars, for example, you know, instead of making 64 per cookie mold, you know, you may only make, you know, 40 of them or whatever the case may be. So it gives us the opportunity to pass out more product to people. So we enjoy that. I use 2 at a time when I do this, you know, so that makes quite a few of them. The next thing we need is we need a 1 cup glass measuring cup. The reason we use glass is because we want to make sure that we don't impregnate that plastic, if you were using a plastic one, with that scent. So we want to be able to clean it up real good when we're done and wash it out. It's a very simple process to clean it. If you used a larger one of this, you can do that too, obviously, but it's more cleanup. So we do it that way. The next thing you want to do is when you go to Hobby Lobby to buy your molds, you also want to buy these little bags, and that's what we're going to put the samples in, or in these little bags themselves. Now, I don't know that I'd go out and buy thousands of these at a time. You may be considered a drug dealer, so be careful with that. Maybe just buy a few at a time, but who knows? Somebody probably never say the word about it. So let's get started on making this. So what we do is we start with two bars, and we're going to open up the 2 bars, and we're going to put them in our measuring cup. Very simple process. 2 bars fit perfectly fine in a 1 cup measuring cup. Makes it quick, simple, and easy to do. So I put 2 in there. Yeah, they're a little tight, so I push them down in there. Not a big deal. I'm just going to throw it in the microwave. Each microwave is a little bit different, but ours takes about 3.5 minutes. Alright guys, so keep an eye on this as you're melting your wax. There's really no reason to overheat the wax, and you'll see why here in just a second. It'll actually just take a little bit longer to make the process if you overheat it. I guess you could potentially scorch it too. We've never had that problem, but you know, I wouldn't heat this up and run off and leave it. But you can already tell the house is starting to smell like whatever it's called, Clementine Clove. So it smells good in here. So hot pad, let's don't forget that. Obviously our cookie sheets, our candy molds, excuse me, are sitting on something. I'm using aluminum foil here, but keep in mind that this thing's going to be hot when it comes out of here. So use a little caution there. So these molds, these candy molds will also, they'll distort a little bit, and that's just from using them time and time again with heat. Not a big deal, but once you start pouring your wax in here, these things are going to flatten out too. But like I said, 1 bar will do exactly 1 candy mold in this particular size. So from there, I'm just going to start pouring my wax into this candy mold. And you'll see my candy mold already laid flat, so that's a good thing. So, you know, try not to make too big a mess with it, but, you know, if you spill a little bit, it is wax, so you just remelt it. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to get good coverage in all my squares. Make sure I got plenty in each square more than anything. Move on to the second one. And you always want to make sure that your cup is above, at least for the most part, above your mold, because any of it runs down, you don't want it to hit your floor. So, oops, I just spilled a little bit there. And a little bit there. So, as you can see, I got good coverage now, and I don't have a whole lot of product left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to fill in any of the little bit of lighter spots with it. Alright, so that's it as far as that's concerned. So I'm going to set this to the side. Make sure you don't set that on your countertop or on your stove, because you're going to have that wax to clean up when you're done. You don't want to do that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to freeze these, but here's the problem, is if you pick them up right now, they're obviously full of liquid, so we don't want to take and carry these to your freezer just yet, because you're going to have it all over your floor. So we just need to let it cool off a little bit. And again, this is the reason why I said no need to overheat your wax, because if you overheat your wax, it's just going to take that much longer before you can move it to the freezer. So pretty simple process, but you know, this will take, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes or so, and all we're looking for is to get a little bit of a coating of wax over the top that's dried, just enough so when we pick it up and we start to carry it, it's not pouring off.